Hey guys, this is Thomas over here at NurseMoneyTalk.com, and in this video I'm going to talk again about like the select all that apply questions on the NCLEX. So there's a lot of questions that seems to revolve around this question format, and when it comes to this particular question in general, which is, can you actually pass the NCLEX if you don't get any select all that apply questions? I think what it boils down to is a couple things, because there's a lot of questions nursing students tend to have around these select all that apply questions. It boils down to students tend to find select all that apply questions difficult, and also I think there's always, like as students, you're always trying to find ways to try to predict how well you're going to do, or how well you did in the case of if you just took the NCLEX. So let's talk about this real quick, but before I get to that though, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. On this channel, I'll talk about all things related to nursing student, and of course nurse life. One more quick house cleaning thing is that if you haven't already taken the NCLEX and you are searching around for a good NCLEX prep course, make sure you check out NurseMoneyTalk.com/NCLEX prep. So let's go ahead and get started with kind of like my thoughts on this. And that's, well, it's not really so much a thought as it is just, yes, you can pass the NCLEX without actually getting any select all that apply questions. So if you look around, there's plenty of students, whether in random forums or whatever, who have mentioned that they have passed the NCLEX without any select all that apply. And if you remember, which I've talked in my other videos, that the NCLEX is what you would call a computer adaptive test. So every student, well, in general, every student is going to get different questions, different kind of like test style questions, if you will. And as you continue to do well, you'll get gradually harder and harder and harder questions until the computer can determine that if it keeps asking you questions that you would stay above their preset passing line. And so because of the way that's set up, you're kind of like, the questions you get is going to be different than the questions your classmates get, and in general your experiences are going to be different in general. Even if you give the different students the exact same questions, your experiences are going to be different. And so there's kind of like this myth that select all that apply questions are like the hardest questions. And if you look at, because the NCLEX is computer adaptive and you get gradually harder and harder questions, that if you don't get any select all that apply questions, that means that you're not doing well. And the truth of the matter is that even though most students do find I don't know if I would say most students, but I'll just say a lot of students do find the select all that apply question format difficult. I think it's important to remember that there's a lot of things that goes into these questions writings. And so based on topics, and even the topics that you might be very comfortable or familiar with, and even just topics in general that students are generally going to find more difficult as opposed to another topic. And also keep in mind, when you're looking at the spectrum of the difficulty of questions they can ask, where you're looking at a question that's straight knowledge and a question that's more critical thinking based, that you can get those spectrums in select all that apply questions, and also questions with single answers. So with all that said, I've made some, plenty of other videos on this, so definitely check that out. I won't really kind of push this video any longer than it needs to. Make sure you watch one of these upcoming videos that you'll see over here that'll show up to my left. We'll talk about more about the NCLEX, and even I'll go into, if you've already taken the NCLEX, I'll even talk about the Pearson Vue NCLEX trick. So definitely make sure to check out that video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you very soon in that next one.